What's up guys, welcome to the Mashup. I'm Justin McGill, and today I'm reviewing the DC Animated movie, Deathstroke Knights and Dragons. In the first DC Animated movie since DC hit the reset button in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, Deathstroke Knights and Dragons has the assassin Deathstroke trying to save his family from the wrath of Hive and the murderous Jackal. Before we get to the review guys, make sure you hit that like button because liking these videos lets us know that you love them. Make sure that subscribe notification bell so you miss any videos just like this one. Let's get to the review. So let's kick things off with blood and gore. You heard me right. This movie is super bloody and gory. Hello, he's an assassin with superhuman abilities, so whether it's dying by his gun, or sword, or if he decides to jump on your head and smash it to bloody pieces, it's getting a little bit bloody and gory. It reminds me of the Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, which was also from WB Animation. That movie was very bloody and gory as well, as it should have been because it's based off the video game, but this movie totally echoed that theme, and I loved it. So in this movie, Deathstroke has a very hard time deciding if he wants to be an assassin or a family man. I personally am not very familiar with the Deathstroke character. I mean, I know who he is, but I mostly know him from like Teen Titans as the villain with Slade, not so much Deathstroke, but I know of him, and I know he's also been in some Batman Arkham games, so that's my extent of the character. So I was not familiar with him actually having a family. So in the movie, we're introduced to his wife, and then soon to be ex-wife, Adeline Wilson, and then we have his son, Joseph, or Joe. Now throughout the film, he has a very hard time going from his daytime job, or is it nighttime job? I'm not really sure since he doesn't mostly at night, but he basically has a hard time deciphering if he wants to be an assassin or a family man, if he wants to spend time with his wife and kid and be the father that Joseph needs and the husband that Adeline needs, or does he want to be the assassin known as Deathstroke and basically go out and kill anarchists and totalitarian leaders and, you know, whatever else? A lot of times throughout the movie, he is given chances to figure out whether he wants to be an assassin or a family man, and sometimes he does the right thing and sometimes he does the wrong thing. I personally think he was given way too many chances. I think that this Adeline chick, I mean, I know that she has history with him, and of course they share a child, but girl, he should have just left him and been done. I mean, you heard from the synopsis that obviously, he puts his family through problems because of what he does from his day job or night job. So, why would you want to be around that? But that's just me. So something interesting that this movie delves into is Deathstroke a hero, villain, or anti-hero? Okay. The title of the movie is Deathstroke Knights and Dragons, and that's basically a book that he reads to his son Joseph, describing a white knight who basically saves the man and maid from danger. So, in this movie, Deathstroke seems to think that he is the white knight that's going to save his ex-wife, wife and ex-wife, and his son. That theme is echoed throughout the movie, in the beginning, middle, and the end. Because of that, this movie tends to paint Deathstroke as more of an anti-hero. Given his history in the comics and games and TV series and he's been in a lot of stuff, guys. But given his history throughout the DC multiverse, he's basically been a supervillain assassin who's mainly been against Superman, mostly Batman, and the Teen Titans. I will say, though, that that typically works for him in this movie, and I actually personally like that. I think that that could work for him going forward in other representations, whether it be comics, movies, etc. Throughout this movie, I was rooting for Deathstroke. I know it is his movie, so of course you're going to do that, but you're rooting for an assassin who kills people, but he's basically doing it for good. Or at least that's what he thinks and wants you to think. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen the movie. Do you think that Deathstroke is an anti-hero? Do you think he's really just a villain? What category do you think he fits into? So this movie's main villains are the Jackal and the terrorist organization known as Hive. But I will say that this movie does not do a very good job of explaining who exactly those people are, and so I'm going to help you out with that. Alright, so let's start with the Jackal. Jackal's origins as it pertains to the movie is pretty simple. He served with Slade Wilson in the army, and after leaving the military, he became a terrorist, and then later becoming the leader of the terrorist organization known as Hive. As far as like characteristics and stuff like that, I won't dive in too much, but from the movie you'll see that he basically is just wearing a suit of armor, mimicking what looks like a jackal, and that gives him superhuman abilities that he would normally not have compared to like Slade Wilson's Deathstroke or something other metahuman-like. Let's move on to the terrorist organization known as Hive. So Hive stands for the Hierarchy of International Vengeance and Extermination, and is a supervillain terrorist organization that has been throughout the DC multiverse. I think most people will recognize Hive from the Teen Titan cartoon, if that was on Cartoon Network. I know they've been in like the Arrowverse, and you know they're here and there, but the Jackal I wasn't too familiar with. I was familiar with Hive based on the cartoon, as I just said, but other than that, that's pretty much all we know about them. Now, their main goal in the movie is to basically kidnap Slade's son and basically use him as bait and other things you'll find out in the movie to then corrupt governments into doing what they want, and thus having Hive be in control. That's all I'll say. That's basically what their goal in life is. Seems pretty villainous enough, right? So let's talk about some other characters you'll see in the movie. Let's start off with Bronze Tiger. I actually liked Bronze Tiger. I thought he was a good pawn of Hive, pawn of the Jackal. A little bit of both. I love his interactions with Deathstroke. I love that he was kind of like, I work for this person, but then in the same sense, I work for myself. And you can tell from their battles that he is a very strong fighter, and in some cases, a good adversary for Slade. But of course, Deathstroke, is Deathstroke, and he's going to prevail. So you'll see in their battles together some very comical ways that Slade has the upper hand, and that kind of progresses throughout the movie as kind of like a running joke. But I loved his character. Next, we have Lady Shiva. And now what I don't understand is Lady Shiva is supposed to be a martial arts master. Like, she is the best at hand-to-hand combat. But for some reason, in these DC movies, just like it was in Justice League Dark Apokolips War, she's weak. Like, she does not have what it takes. Like, I don't even understand why they have her on this villain team. I'd be like, go get me Cheetah or somebody else. I don't know, somebody. And I feel like if I wanted to, I could take her and just sit on her or something. I don't know. She just doesn't seem like a martial arts master. I could be wrong. You can let me know in the comments below what you think about Lady Shiva, but they seem to beef her up a little bit, make her a little bit stronger, make her more of a foe. Next, let's talk about Wintergreen. He's basically Deathstroke's version of Batman's Lucius Fox and Alfred. He's basically Deathstroke's right hand, and whenever Deathstroke is in trouble and needs help or needs work getting somewhere, basically Deathstroke has his own Batwing. They don't really tell you what it is, but basically has his own private jet. And this basically helps him along through the movie and life. As I said, you have Adeline, who is his wife/ex-wife. And what I thought was really interesting about her is she seems like she could be a hero or a vigilante or whatever. And I think in the comics she is that, but she can fight and she can do some really cool things. So I don't know why they just didn't let her do that. I will say this, and you may notice this when you watch the movie. Does she look like Brooke Shields? She looks like Brooke Shields to me. Maybe that was just me, but at the beginning of the movie and even in the end of the movie, she reminds me of Brooke Shields. And then she gets like this weird kind of gray streak to kind of show that she's aged a little bit. So she kind of looks like rogue Brooke Shields. You'll see. Okay, this is the part I think I did not like about the movie the most. Deathstroke's son, I wish he would have just died. I know that sounds horrible because I have a daughter and I don't want any kid to die, even though this is a movie and it's not really real, but he got on my nerves. Joseph, Joe, whatever the heck he wants to be called, I didn't like him. I didn't like him at all. I liked him as a kid. I thought he was cute, but when he got to be a little bit older in the movie, he got on my nerves. He was annoying. He was weak. I mean, come on, man. I know that you've had a hard life and you have some daddy issues. We all have daddy issues. But really, you need to step up, be a little bit tougher, show off more of your abilities, hint, hint, and, just be better. He literally gets on the character named Jericho, and you'll understand why when you watch the movie, but I was all for, get this guy, find somebody else. Get somebody else to be the reason why he has to be saved or something. I don't know. I just didn't like his character that much. I just thought he was naggy, weak, and I thought the Jackal, if I was the Jackal, I'd have thought, this is what I did, this is what I kidnapped, this is what I wanted to do to be better. Nah. I'll find something else. We'll find another way. You'll see, and you'll agree. All right, without giving too much away, I'll talk about the last character, Rose, who's basically the queen of the Hive. And I think that with her abilities and her premise of what she's trying to do in the movie is fine, but I thought she was just okay. I thought they could have done a little bit more with her and made her, she's the queen of the Hive, so she should have some really cool powers and abilities, or she should have done something really bad or something like that, to make her see I'm Rose, queen of the Hive, I have this reputation, but really it's just a title. And honestly, if her character wasn't there, it'd be okay. All right, so should you watch Deathstroke Knights and Dragons? As I've said in past DC Animated Movie reviews, if you are a DC fan or a DC Animated Movie fan, watch it. Of course, why aren't you not going to watch it? If you're new to DC or DC Animated Movies, I would say that this movie is a really good movie to watch because it basically just throws you right into everything. It may not explain every little thing to you, but it's easy to follow and understand, and I think given that this movie is Deathstroke singular in title, it does its job as far as letting you know that this is going to be the hero of the movie. Here's his story. They do a good job of giving you a little bit of an origin story of how he gets his abilities. So I think overall it does a very good job, and I think you will enjoy it. I thought the animation style was really good. I know I didn't go into it in too deep detail like I've done before in past reviews, but it basically was the same kind of animation style we saw in the Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge movie. So something that we've already seen, but I thought it was really good, and I totally recommend it. Now I'm going to try to do a rating scale, and we'll see how this works if it goes forward in future movies if I like it. So with this one, I thought what I'd do, instead of stars or having some type of mashup specific, I think I'm going to do rating, whatever out of whatever, and basically just use emblems that would be recognizable for the characters of the movie. So if I had to rate this movie, I would rate it 4 out of 5 Deathstroke heads. Now, as I said in the intro, this is the first DC animated movie to be released since DC hit the reset button on Justice League Dark Apokolips War. There are 2 other movies set to come out, and it's going to be Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and Batman, Death in the Family, which is an interactive movie. So I'm totally looking forward to those, and we'll have reviews of those as well, hopefully. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos just like this one, hit that subscribe notification bell. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Justin_McGill. We're also on Instagram at the Mashup. I know that sounds kind of weird. It's supposed to be the Mashup, but it's already taken, so it's at THEMSHUP. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.